So last week we got into Havenport. Um, we had a interesting night being watched by the were creatures, and as you made it to Havenport, Uriana even was able to look back and see Matthias watching you guys go. But again, you made it into Havenport. Sky broke off from the party and went his own way, and everyone else went off to the inn,
Sounds so ominous.
the Hilt and the Haft. I'm sorry, it sounds ominous, is that what you said?
Guy broke away and went on his own. Like, walked off the path over to a shrine.
Is that really all you did? Is it?
Oh, yeah, we don't talk about that part. Gotcha, okay.
Wait, what? Okay, now I'm really curious. What did you mean by that?
Nothing, I was just playing on with you, what you were saying.
Oh. So basically you turned my own,
Plot against you, yeah.
yeah, whatever it is.
Sorry, I screwed you up. They're at the Hilton Haft.
Did we talk to the owner of the Hilton Half yet? Hilton Half yet?
No, you guys
Or had we
had
just gotten in?
you just gotten there. And as you enter the familiar inn, it's it's not the decor here and the tables and chairs, all that. It's old, but not like antique old. It's the old but serviceable kind of old. Um, it's not fancy. It's just like a high end blue collar kind of thing. Um, and as you come in, um, Daisy, you're about to go downstairs. Daisy.
Were you there?
Yeah, I'm looking for something. I'm sorry.
That's fine. You know how my sometimes drops me. I was making sure. I heard people chatting or posting stuff, so I was like, okay, did I lose something?
Okay. As you come in the door, you see the bald, brown braided beard of Delg as he's standing behind the counter. I didn't do a very good job with that. You see Delg standing behind the counter, bald with a brown braided beard. And he looks up and he shouts, he shouts to the back. He says, "Hey Mags, they're back." And as Mags comes out, she kind of looks at him confused and looks over, sees you, and she gets this great big smile on her face and comes over towards you, Ariana, with arms wide open, ready to give you a hug.
I'll give her a hug and say that we have something for you from Paravar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I will take out the package that Shani gave us and hand it over to Mags.
She looks at it and kind of peels open the edge and she says, "Oh, okay. I didn't realize you'd be bringing this, but you're kind of overpriced for delivery, mail delivery, aren't you?"
I'll just shrug and say we were on the way, so she passed it off to us.
Well, all the better to have all the security for my great grandma's quilts.
Are they going to be used as decoration around the inn? Or are they something for your personal use? It's just a single set of bedspread, I guess, so it's just for them, probably.
Well, we used to have it on the bed long ago, but Cal, and you guys remember Cal and Stoneale, their son, was quite hard on it and kind of put some holes in it when he was younger. And it's just taken me a while to get around to getting it repaired. And Fanny was kind enough to take care of it for us down there or over there in Barabor.
I'm glad you were able to get it repaired.
I'm looking forward to seeing it again. It's been a long time. I grew up with these blankets on my own beds, and my parents had them on their beds when I was little, and they've been in this family for generations. It'll be nice to be able to use them again.
Yeah, I'm sure it definitely will.
So you said you're on your way. What brings you back to Havenport?
We're looking to charter a ride on a boat out to the Sea of Fallen Stars somewhere. Then figured Havenport's the town to do that in.
probably right. Somewhere on the Sea of Fallen Stars, you don't know? You're not sure where your destination is?
We've never been there before, but it's depicted on the map, so it's kind of at the entrance where it opens up to the big area from here.
I see.
I don't know. Do we know the name for the island? I don't think so.
Not really. There isn't really one. At least not
Yeah.
that I saw.
But yeah, we're just staying. Maybe gonna stay for the night and try and find a boat today.
Well, you're welcome to stay here. Um, Crystallini comes by quite often. She visits whenever she gets a chance. So, I'm afraid I believe she's out of town at the moment though, so I'm not sure if you'll see her.
That's too bad. Well, definitely keep an eye out and maybe head up to the manor.
Okay, then, um, I guess we'll see you later this evening. You said you're heading up to the manor, right?
I said we might head up there. My plan was to head to the docks first, see if we can find someone who's heading out in the next few days.
Okay. And I guess we'll see you later this evening.
Yeah, we will be in for dinner time probably.
Okay, sounds good. I'll make sure to make something special for you.
Thank you very much. And then I'll just start heading out and head towards the dock. I'll wait here for a bit until Sky catches up.
You said you wanted to try the
I forget what we were saying last week, but he was just gonna spend like, or I was, or we, or whatever. We're just gonna spend like 30 minutes meditating at the shrine and then head over.
Okay. As you enter the shrine, um, there is a person. You can't tell their race. They are currently covered in a cloak with the hood up, and they are kneeling in front of the altar. Um, Presumably in supplication. Um, Give me a perception check. Okay. Hidden in the trees, about at your see. I'd say you come into the shrine, which is kind of a small secluded grove, from the 9 o'clock position, and behind you, about at the 11 o'clock position, give or take, you hear the sound of a bowstring being pulled.
Really didn't like my Vecna comments, did you? So I hear a bowstring being pulled.
Yes.
If I look over my 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, if I look over my left shoulder, can I see them aiming it at me?
Unfortunately, when you look, you can't see anything. However, they have not fired yet.
I will kneel in front of the shrine and speak loudly in Sylvan, like a short prayer to Maliki. Along lines like, Maliki, guide me as I venture forth, blah, 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 something along that line.
Okay. Give me another perception check. Yeah, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary.
I'll stand up and walk in
Walk in.
to the shrine, yeah.
Okay.
And then sit down and start meditating.
Okay. At some point, maybe half an hour after you sit down. Well, let's make it about 15 minutes after you sit down. The person kneeling in front of the altar stands, and whoever it is very careful to make sure the cloak stays over their face. And they start to move towards the entrance, or exit in this case. And as they are exiting, they are joined by another person, both of which quickly exit. Give me one more perception check.
Come on, dice, let's do this.
Okay. You hear them whisper to each other. In Undercommon. But you don't hear all the words. You only hear parts of them. And one of them says, you're not quite sure what he says to begin with. So you hear the word "shoot him," and then the other one says something else, but the only words you catch are "not a threat."
Do I recognize the tonality of the two people that are supposed to set up shop here?
Give me a history check. Yes, this it seems familiar to crap. What did I call them? Believe it was Jextalis and Delvos. Anyway, it was the two shopkeepers you um ran into in um was it Saligont?
Sounds great.
And you and Chrislini convinced them to, or I guess you and Opal, you convinced them to move to Havenport. In Sailorloon. It's in Sailorloon.
Gotcha.
So, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna do anything?
No, I'm just gonna stay meditating for probably another 5-10 minutes, and then I will head back to the Hilton Aft.
Okay. So you make it back to the inn. At this
And
point, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say when he gets back, I'd be ready to head off.
Okie doke. So are you all going, or some of you gonna hang out at the inn, or do other stuff?
I'll follow him. Or her, sorry.
I'll just tag along. I got nothing better to do.
I will walk in, say hello to Megs and Delg, and then mention to Ariana that I am ready to go wherever we need to go.
All right, I think it is about time to head to the docks. See if we can't find that ship or a ship.
Okay. Um. You make your way to the docks. Do you look for anyone in particular, or just kind of?
Uh, if there's a ship there that we recognize, I'll definitely head there. But not really looking for anyone specifically. Just seeing where the boats are headed, I guess.
Okay. Give Give me an investigation check.
Can we help with that?
If she wants you to.
Yeah, I'll let other people help me look as well. 15.
Okay, you get to the dock and you start looking around a bit, talking to a few of the dock workers, and nobody really seems like they want to even give you a time of day. I mean, they're just too busy moving stuff and moving, unloading and loading and moving crates from here to there, and it's just a mass of confusion.
Yeah.
It's not long before you find you're just frustrated and about ready to just scream at one of them when you hear laughter from behind you. And as you look over at it, you see a small boy, human boy, just sitting on a crate, just smiling at you with a great big grin. His hair is all messed up, and he's got dirt on his face, and his clothes are patchwork, and there's some holes, and he's a mess, and he's obviously a street kid, but he's just smiling at you with a great big grin, and holding a half-eaten apple in his hand.
I'll smile over at him and then head over toward him.
You're never gonna
Uh,
get you're never gonna get their attention like that.
no, how do I get their attention?
He takes a moment. He looks you up and down, and kind of measures you a little bit. Says, "Give me 2 gold coins."
Uh, I'll pass him.
What's that?
I'll pass him 3.
He smiles wider. He puts 2 in his pocket and he lifts one up and says, "Gold coin to anyone willing to answer questions." And 2 of the dock workers stop, look your direction. They kind of look at each other and back at the kid. And then they kind of shrug at each other. One of them goes back to work, and the other one kind of walks over to you, or walks over to the kid and says, "What kind of questions you got, kid?" And then the kid hands the gold coin back to you. And dock worker kind of looks confusedly back and forth between the two of you.
We were just wondering if any of the boats here were heading out to the Sea of Fallen Stars and willing to make a stop for us.
I might be able to answer that for you. He kind of casually puts his hand out.
I'll hand him the gold coin.
He takes it and he kind of bites it between his teeth, and then looks at it in the sun, and drops it in his pocket, and he says, "There are 2 ships that are going out that direction. One is sailing beyond the sea. What's that? The Sea of Fallen Stars. Is that which one it is? I don't remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crap, just a second."
Hi, this
Yeah, the area right here is it's actually the Lake of Dragons,
Hello?
and then it opens up. White just is answering a phone call.
You're not gonna. No, thank you, but thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
We both get calls at the same time.
Sorry about that.
I did find a name for the island.
Yours coming out so much clearer than mine.
What's coming out so much clearer?
Oh, the Isle of Presper?
Picture.
Yeah, the Isle of Presper.
He probably has a different map than you.
That's well, it's the same picture. I've got it on dominionmods.com, but I can't zoom. When
Yeah,
I
I
zoom
just
in, it gets pixelated.
yeah, it's not super high resolution picture. It's 1124 by 600, just from the Forgotten Realms wiki. Um, so I guess the lake that Haven Port's on is actually called Lake of Dragons, which then
Only,
opens up
only
to the Sea
it's
of Fallen Stars.
yes.
Um,
Okay. He goes on to say that one of them is sailing beyond the Sea of Fallen Stars. Um, if you're headed for, I'm assuming you told him the Isle of Presper.
yeah,
Okay. If you're headed for the Isle, they'd be able to drop you off. I'm not sure how you'd be able to get home though, or get off, return.
well, we can figure that out. One-way trip's all we need. And which ship is it that's heading out that way?
He looks back at the ships at the dock and um, he kind of scans over them and he points way over on the north end of the dock. He points at this huge, probably 85 foot ship, 85 foot long ship with three massive masts. It's got these colored banners and it's very cheerily painted and you're not quite sure who it belongs to, but whoever it is has money. This ship is like top tier luxury type ship. And
If they're heading past the Sea of Fallen Stars, they're going on a long trip.
yeah, he points at that one and says, "You see that? The wave breaker there? On the other side of that is the one you're looking for."
All right. The one on the other side of that giant boat.
Yes.
I'll toss him another gold coin and say, "For your friend."
Well, thank you. You just paid for a drink for the night.
And then I'll head off toward the ship that you pointed out and look at see what's behind it.
Okay, in stark contrast to this 85-foot luxury yacht, you see a 30-foot sloop with one sail and like some of the rails on the deck are broken, and it's got some holes in it and that are kind of patched haphazardly, and the sails have holes in them, and yeah, it's not a very pretty ship.
Uh, I'll head up toward the ship and see if I can see a name on it.
Okay. You see where the name used to be. All you can make out is capital T I. Then there's a space, or there's some space, and it says SK. That's all you can read. The rest is too faded to make out.
All right. Is there like a gangplank or some way to get onto the boat there?
Yes. There's a gangplank. Just set up. You just walk on board.
And is there kind of like a captain's quarters somewhere?
There's a hutch. It's about. It's at the back of the ship, just behind the what is it, the steering wheel, essentially. I don't remember
Yeah.
what they call it on a ship. It's not a steering wheel, but
It's a helm.
yeah, that. A hutch. It's about 5 feet square. That's about it.
And it doesn't look like there is anyone on board.
Not at the moment.
I'll stay off to the side and just relax and watch the surrounding.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I'll just kind of stand around near the end of the dock there and just wait to see if anyone comes by in the next 10-15 minutes.
Okay. After 10 minutes or so, This old gnome walks up on the dock, kind of watches you warily as he turns and walks up the gangplank. And he gets on board and he turns around and starts to haul the gangplank up, just kind of watching you guys. Obviously suspicious of you.
I'll call out and say we heard you're heading out past the Sea of Fallen Stars.
He kind of stops what he's doing, looks at you, looks around behind him, and looks at you again. He says, "You talking to me?"
Yeah.
"Yeah, what's it to you?"
Do you have room for? And I'll look over my shoulder. 4 of us and a wolf.
He kind of flinches when you say wolf, as if he's just seeing Damo for the first time. And he looks at you, says, "You want to ride on my ship?"
Shrug and say, don't see why not. Looks seaworthy enough.
"Okay. Um, where are you headed?"
We're headed to the Isle of Presper. Just a one-way trip.
"I see. Well, that shouldn't be too difficult. Uh, when were you wanting to leave?"
Whenever you're ready.
You can tell he's very unsure about this whole situation. He's probably never taken passengers before. Um, give me 3 hours to get proper supplies together, and we can head out.
I'll nod and say we'll just let me see here. I'll nod and say we'll be back in about 3 hours.
Okay, that sounds good.
Then I'll smile at him and head back into town.
And after we start to walk away, I turn to Uriana and I say, "Do we know how much this is going to cost us?"
I'll shrug and say that I'm not sure. It'll depend on how much he wants, I guess.
I will mention, hopefully not much. This ship's about to fall apart. Look back over at the monstrosity of the 85-foot ship next to us with awe.
I'll look over and say, yeah, but imagine what that'll cost us.
Probably a lot more than this.
Okay, so you guys head out. Um, you watch as er, the gnome quickly runs down into the hold of the boat, and you can hear him shouting and kicking things and things falling over and yeah, he's getting things done. Um, but as you walk away, he seems to be getting things ready for your trip. So what are you gonna do for the next 3 hours?
I'll reach over. I'll not reach over. I'll speak up and say, they did say there's 2 ships that were going, right? Just to make sure something happens.
Yeah, they mentioned there was another one, but didn't specify which one it was.
So okay, I'm just making sure that there was a backup plan if we needed to go that route.
Yeah, I think this will be fine. Um, and then I will start heading up to this gate up here.
I'm sorry, where?
The north end of town.
Ah, the state district
Yeah,
or rich district, whatever you want to call it.
the rich district of 2 houses.
That's representative. Although there are actually only 2 houses in it, but that's not the point. Okay. As you approach the gate, you're stopped by 2 guards wearing the Havensport um, um,
Insignia.
Insignia.
yeah, that'll work. And their armor is very well polished. Almost looks as if it's brand new. Same with their weapons. Um, look very sharp and essentially brand new. Um, yeah, they stop you. They don't let you enter the estate district.
Uh,
Do we have any
I
signs that say we can go in?
was trying to find. I don't think we have anything specific. I'll just say that we have uh, we have some friends at the Firesong Estate that we'd like to go in and visit.
Your name? Your name?
Iriona.
And who are you wishing to visit?
Lady and Lord Firestone. Maybe their daughter as well if she's in town.
Okay, and as you're answering these questions, he's writing down writing down some notes on this little piece of paper. When he finishes, he folds it up, hands it to a young boy standing nearby, and the boy bolts off to the north. And as he gets to the end of this little road, you see that he bolts off towards the northeast, off towards Firestone Estate. And the guard turns back to you and says, give us a moment, please.
I'll nod and say, we'll just wait here if that's alright.
He kind of grins and nods. After several minutes, probably close to 10, the boy comes running back out, and he's breathing heavy, his face is flushed, he's sweating, and he hands a slightly crumpled note to the guard, and the guard opens it and reads it really quick, folds it up, tucks it into his tunic, and turns back to you and salutes you and says, Lady Ariana, we're to escort you and your party to the estate immediately.
I'll bow in front of him and say, lead the way.
I'll follow.
Okay. He leads the way into the district, and the other guard kind of takes up a position in the middle of the road as a third hidden guard that you didn't even see before walks out of the building and takes up the position behind the party as they escort you into the estate district and to Firestone Estate.
I will just follow along behind it. And say that they've definitely increased the security since last time we were around.
I'm not sure how long that's been, but security around the estate district has been pretty strict since young Lady Firesong returned and removed the thugs from controlling the city.
How long has that been?
Four months, I want to say.
We'll say that to him. Probably about 4 months then.
That sounds about right.
I'd hope so. It's a little bit too short of time to forget stuff like that.
He stops short. I mean, like, so suddenly that you almost run into him. And he kind of turns to you with his mouth wide open. He says, do you mean to say that you helped her? You were a part of
I'll
that?
just shrug.
I'll say, well, she didn't do it alone.
Well, we're aware that she had assistance, but had no clue that, that I might actually get to meet you. reaches out and reaches his hand out to shake each of your hands briskly, including yours, Rogar. It's a pleasure and an honor to meet the assistants of Lady Crystallini Firesong, and I have to say I'm so have to show my gratitude to you for ridding our town of those thugs. It was just it was unbearable.
Oh, well, you're welcome. We were glad to help out.
It was our pleasure to help her out.
Assist Lady Firesong, the young Lady Firesong, sorry, in freeing the town.
I imagine it was quite a thrill to watch her in action.
It sure was.
One of the biggest thrills in my life.
I just smile. I just grin and shake his hand and step back.
And you're also humble too. I'm just I can't believe I got a chance to meet you. And the guard behind you kind of clears his throat, and the one that's gushing um kind of flinches a little bit and says, "Oh, okay. We need to get you to Firesong State." He turns around and starts to walk, and his back is straighter, and his shoulders are back, and his chest is all puffed out, and he's looking very regal and ceremonial and very, very proud. But he does lead you to the Firesong State. And as you get there, front door opens and out steps Alana and Bernard, both with large welcoming smiles, and um, to Christine or to Ariana, they're saying, "Welcome home, welcome home. So glad you took some time to come back."
Of course, I definitely would miss out on stuff in here while we're in camp. We're just here for a few hours now, uh, getting a ride out into the Sea of Fallen Stars. Is is Crystallini around? Was she out somewhere?
I'm afraid she and her um, pet are off doing the hero thing. I'm assuming she never really tells us what she does on her little excursions, but she disappears for days, sometimes even weeks at a time. Comes back, usually a little bruised, but usually not too much worse for wear.
I'm sorry we missed her. Seems like she's getting on okay. Uh, how have you guys been in the last little while?
Well, considering the last time you saw us, much better.
Glad to hear it. Seems like, and I'll look over my shoulder at the guard. It seems like you guys have upped the security a bit.
Just a little. Just trying to keep the trying to keep history from repeating itself.
It's definitely understandable.
So please come in, come in. Um, did you say you're in town for the night, or
No, we are heading out in about 2.5 hours or so. Need to be back at the dock. So we just have a few hours here.
well, good. Have enough time for us to feed you.
Exactly.
She gives you a great big grin, and then rushes the lot of you inside. She kind of um, uh, she greets you, Sky. As she recognizes you. She looks at Rogar and says, "Oh, you're a new one." And she puts her hand out to shake, and she says, "Greetings. My name's Alana Firesong, and you are
Greetings.
greetings. Are you new to the group?"
Yes. Uh, I joined the party just recently uh, for a little excursion. I have nothing better to do, and they're good guys.
She looks back over her shoulder at him and says, "Well, I can't argue with you there." And then she goes back to the door and kind of looks outside, looks back and forth, like she's looking for someone else. And she looks back at you, Ariana, as she slowly closes the door and says, "Ariana, where's Opal?"
She is with her father down in the uh, I forget the name of the forest.
The forest.
Miss Loras is in
Shilmista
town.
Forest. Or Mythlora. Yeah, Shilmista Forest. She's with her father down in Shilmista Forest.
I see. Did you go with her?
Yeah, we went and visited. They were having some issues that we helped resolve. And
Good, good.
Opal decided to stay with him.
How did they take meeting each other?
Opal did meet him, yeah?
Yeah,
Um,
they met, they talked.
yeah. I'll say that they met and they talked, and when we left, it seemed like they were on good terms. Took Didn't take much convincing her father about anything, but the rest of them did take some convincing.
And give me a deception check.
So glad it's you deceiving her, not me. Because I was thinking about going the same route.
Yeah, I have a +1 for my deception. I mean,
She says, "Well, good. I'm glad she finally got to meet her father. Though I have to admit, I would have liked to have spent more time with her. But hopefully that can happen in the future."
Yeah, hopefully it can.
And she smiles, kind of a smiling through the disappointment kind of thing. And you can see a little bit of a tear kind of welling up in her eyes as she kind of walks past you into the dining room and kind of encourages you to follow her in, where she kind of steps off into another room for a moment and then comes back and says, food should be ready shortly. Please, everyone, feel free to shed your loads and sit down, relax. You're safe here.
He sits and relaxes against the wall. And if there's a place to sit, he'll sit, but he'll try to have his back towards the wall.
You are in a dining room, so there's a large table running the length of the room. Um, it could comfortably seat about 20 people. There are currently place settings set up at one end for 3. And as she invites you to take a seat, some people come out of the other room and start placing more place settings. So you guys are welcome to sit in chairs or against the wall if you'd like. It's up to you.
He'll sit in a chair to be social, but his back will be towards a wall or something. So he can still watch the room.
Okay.
I'll sit close to Elena and just chat with her about what a bit of what we've been up to, and asking how they're doing, and how it is being back in town.
Alana is happy to chat with you and gossip about all the things that have changed since you guys freed the town. Bernard is stoically quiet, just sitting at the head of the table, watching the conversation in front of him. He adds a detail here or there, but for the most part, it's Ilana gossiping about other families in town and talking about things that have changed and
Is when we left, was there the mayor still?
yeah, Silverbrook was still here.
Okay.
She is the other estate in the estate
Oh
district.
right, yeah. She had the necklace on that we got off.
Yeah, well, Lucane wanted you to, but you guys didn't actually do it.
But yeah.
Which is probably a good thing. In the long run.
Probably.
Okay, food is served. It's not exactly gourmet, but it is It's definitely hearty and it's good. Um, for life of me, I can't think of what you're eating. Some sort of
Oh,
stew with I don't know, some sort of beef stew or meat stew of some sort with bread and I don't know some other sides. I guess my mind is not on food at the moment. Sorry, and I'm reluctant to put it there because then I'll be thinking about food all night. But yeah,
That's
it's hearty. It's filling. Tastes pretty good, and it's free, so can't argue with that.
yeah.
But as you guys are finishing up, um, it's been you've been here for about 2 hours. As you guys finish up with dinner and the talking and yeah. So what do you want to do?
It's been about 2 hours. I will kind of start getting up and say that we greatly appreciate spending, or you guys giving us a meal here. But it's about time for us to get ready to head out and continue on our journey.
Okay.
I will ask. I hate to be a bother, but we didn't get a chance to run by the market. Would there be any chance that your cooks might have some extra ingredients for me to help cook meals on the road? I have a small list of things that I would like to collect, and didn't realize that we would be so pressed for time once we got here.
Okay. May I see your list? Wow, you actually did have a list. Um,
Yes, of course.
I should have known better. She kind of quickly reads over the list. She says, "I don't see why this would be any issue. Are you sure this is all you need?"
Yes, we can hunt and get game pretty well on the road. Just need stuff to spice it up with, and I have a spice pouch that lets me add a little something here and there, but it's only good for a certain amount of spices. So
I understand, and you can see by the look on her face that she has no clue what you're talking about. But she says, "This shouldn't be a problem." She hands the list to one of the servants, who puts down. Well, no, the servant carries the dishes, and then kind of carries the list in their mouth as they run into the back. And about 15 minutes later, um, come out with a small satchel with all that stuff in it.
I'll give her
So,
a hug and say, can I give you anything for this?
oh no, you've given me more than enough.
Grip her harder and hug and thank her very profusely.
she will hug you back and just kind of smile. Um,
Please give Crystallini our regards when she gets back. Sad that we missed her.
yeah, she's gonna be pretty disappointed that she missed your visit. And she
Well,
reluctantly. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm sorry that we missed her too.
Well, what can you do? You both have your lives to lead. And she slowly, reluctantly walks you to the door.
As we get to the door, I will turn and give her a hug again.
She gladly hugs you back. And you can see that she is fighting back tears because, you guys have all brought up some very emotional memories for her.
He moves forward and walks out the door, starts heading towards since that's where they said they were going. After shaking her hand and thank her for the meal.
And she says, "Not a problem, Mr. Rogar, and I want you to promise me you're going to take care of these people, okay? They've saved a lot of lives, but it would just be awful if they got hurt by some fluke of luck. You need to take care of them."
I will. And he says that and he's looking like, yeah, okay. He's startled.
And she reluctantly watches as you guys walk down the path. She reluctantly watches as you walk down the path and away from her home again.
We'll just head out the path slowly and start heading towards the docks.
Raina, come here. Raina? No, Raina? No.
Um,
I was expecting a black dog, not a white one.
as we're back in the city, like once we get fully out of that area, I will turn to. Sorry, I turn to Rogar and tell him what has actually happened with Opal. That she did meet her father, and most of what I said was true. But when we left, she was, in coma, almost dead.
Is she still in a coma?
So far as you guys know.
Sent word about the fight that you joined in on to her father. Not sure if the message reached her father. We have not heard back from him to find out any update on her condition.
Okay.
You guys sent messages about the fight?
Yes, remember I couldn't find a hawk, and then all of a sudden a hawk appeared, and
Right, gotcha. I remember that now.
And as I tell him about it, I'll keep heading down towards the dock there. And also just mention that Crystallini was a party member of ours that stayed here with her family after we rescued her family from a gang and saved her mother's life and brought her father back from his head, from being just ahead.
Have some interesting experiences.
And then we couldn't tell her about Opal because Opal is Elena's daughter.
Ah, that he nods and fully understanding.
And I'll just keep telling him about them as we head down to the docks.
You just don't care. Grandma's gonna be happy if you break something. Right now.
Okay. Um, you get back to the dock, and the older gnome
What?
is there, um,
What?
along with two other younger gnomes, um, trying to
Was she going to?
manhandle some crates onto the ship. And each time they take a crate up onto the gangplank, it looks like the gangplank is going to split in two and just drop them in the bay. But
Rogar will attempt to help him.
okay, roll athletics check. See how well that goes.
And reason it shut down on me. There it is. Okay, no, it's just not out. Is that what you said?
Athletics, yeah. Okay, you walk over and pick up the crate that two of them are trying to pick up, and it's no problem. So you pick up another one. Tuck it under your arm and pick up a third. And then grab another one by the corner of the crate. You just kind of waddle up onto the ship carrying all four crates. And the gnomes are just kind of looking at you kind of out of breath and just kind of, why couldn't you have been here sooner? Kind of a look. And they just direct you to put them down on the deck, and they get them stored down in the hold without too much trouble. And the captain invites a lot of you on board. Again, it's each one of you crosses the gangplank. That it seems so flimsy that you really are worried that it's gonna snap in two and dump you guys in the water. But you do manage to get across.
Rogar chuckles as they come up.
And Yeah. The captain kind of turns to you and says, "By the way, I'm Captain Grimby."
Wow. I'm Iriana, and this is Sky and Lazon and Rogar.
Nods.
And what's your ship's name?
Tide Skype.
Tide Sky?
Tide Skype.
Tide Skype. And
Actually, I think it would be with an I, not a Y. But
uh, uh, did you need any help getting anything else on?
he kind of looks over at the dock and back at you and says, no, I think we've got everything. Um, we don't. I don't. My it, my ship doesn't have cabins per se outside of my own. Um, you're welcome to try to find a place to store your belongings in the hold, or you're welcome to um, essentially hang out on deck. Just it's
I,
yeah.
yeah, I'm sure we'll find somewhere here. And I'll just kind of look around and set my stuff down at the one side of the boat.
Okay. Sure. He's really not sure um, what he's doing. He's probably never had passengers on a ship before, and as you guys kind of spread out as much as you can on such a small ship, he kind of goes to the helm and talks to his crew, which is literally only two other gnomes, and they start getting the ship ready for sail.
Uh, I will just try and offer a hand wherever I can.
Okay.
Oh, when you get a new one? Well, is that a Coleman as well?
Um, the ship heads out of dock or out of port, off into the bay, and then out into the Lake of Dragons. And this thing is tossed about on the waves um like a rubber raft. It's like almost nothing. It's just such a small ship that you're completely at the mercy of the waves.
Yeah.
And the bolts I had go through the, you know how it has a piece that cut a smaller part that goes over and then the two, so they fit together. So the hole that has is on this on the outside one is just the bolt I have is perfect.
Let me grab a ship token real quick.
Boom, 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 boom.
There we go.
I didn't see anything change.
You don't see a token on the map now?
No, I'm still looking at the map of the Ritz district.
Oops.
I got moved over to the big map.
I have now. I'll just have to wait for it to come into focus.
Are we being washed around enough that, paying attention to surrounding is harder, or we can still see if boats were following us or stuff like that?
Well, give me a perception check. There are 4 other boats back there. They appear to be coming the same, or going the same direction as you. Whether they're following you or not, you have no clue.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and take a break this time. And we'll pick it up in a few minutes.
Alright.
No.
Can you smell it?
Hmm?
Can you smell it enough?
Can I smell what?
I think the arm a little bit.
I can't smell it.
Check the other one too.
It's kind of weird that you can't smell it at all.
You just stick your nose in it. I'm a berry blossom on the chin.
I always put 3 in mine.
So strong.
No.
This.
4. That's why I was gonna keep that one. That one's a little big, but I mean, if we can fit it all in there, that'd be great. Plus, I mean, it might be better to have that one and maybe another one. Have a little one.
Over the rainbow.
Are we not continuing?
I'm here.
That's my.
I never left.
Neither did I.
Jeff must be using the restroom or something.
Okay, sorry about that.
Not a problem.
I got distracted by other things. Give me a second, I'm trying to read something here. keelboat. That's one of the boats that they use to go back and forth between the ship and the shore, right?
No,
Yes.
no.
No.
A keel boat was basically a flat boat with a keel down the center that was used for river travel. Uh,
Tugboats and dinghies are typically like the polar thingies.
yeah, tugboats and dinghies and launches, those sort of things. Rowboats.
I used to go to that one. So all you can like this.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was trying to look up how fast ships should go in here. You guys can see the auras on the token, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys should be able to travel to the outside of the largest aura each day.
The 50 miles.
Yeah. Should actually be, I think, 45, but yeah. At least that's what the aura said at.
Yeah, I probably just didn't drag from the nearest center.
Chris had this trash can forever, and he put it up against his wall. That the part that was up against the wall had the labels from the store still on it. Like, take the damn thing off! What? Why are you struggling to make sure you can't see the label? Took everything off. And he had that trash can for a couple of years. At work, you know how robots pretty much any electronics, they have that plastic film on it so that it doesn't extract we have these little just little boxes that you plug in when you're ready.
Okay. Okay, you guys are heading out to sea. Um, on the deck of the Tide Skype, captained by Grimby, the elderly gnome. Um, you guys want to give me any indication of what you guys are doing, or
May ask the captain what he needs help with, or if he's willing to share his knowledge of boating. Since we're going to be here for a couple of days, it seems like. I'm going to stay out of his way.
Yeah, it's what, like 9 days or so to the island? I guess that's the first thing I'll ask him is like, once we get underway, how many days to the island as a rough estimate? He's always weather dependent.
She says it to your face. But she was always like that. She was yeah, and you know, and then she talks shit about you behind your back, so it's like, oh yeah, it's nice. Nice to see you too. So just like, yeah, whatever.
should take
And it's so freaking stupid. Because I have been telling Katie for years, I don't know how much time
10, 12 days,
she was born. I was born in 74. She was born in 80.
give or take weather and
Yeah.
conditions.
And then Theo was born in 14. But she's always
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh my
good.
word, we're this much apart.
Have you asked him how much it's going to cost us?
You know, but it's not. Darla was born in 75. It's not the same. But I didn't want to, like.
Well, since he hasn't asked for a price yet, I figure it's free.
Because I've been telling, I don't know how much I've been telling her. He's like, every time.
That seems rather optimistic.
What's he going to do? Put us off the boat? We're heading there anyways.
Do any of you have any, or have any of you spent any significant time on the sea?
Not specific to my background, more of land travel.
Pretty much only the time we spent uh, the last time we sailed.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Uh, I asked the captain, this is more combination of curiosity and devilment. I say, do you often run into pirates out here?
For the most part, pirates tend to leave me alone. My ship is small enough, and my cargo tends to be of low enough value that I'm just not worth it. But this time, at least, it looks like I have some pretty decent security on board. Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. We're happy to help out where we can. If we do run into any troubles, we'd be happy to help with that. But
I'm
I
glad to
don't
hear it.
think any of us have. Don't think any of us have much extensive sea travel.
That is a shame. Making a living on the sea is a very honorable profession, and it's just it just gets in your blood.
I'm pretty sure Miss Rayna's not gonna leave me alone if I'm not being stubborn. So should we put the
Did he accept me asking if uh, to learn?
Yeah, I'm willing to teach you what I can, but to be honest, if you're either born with it in your blood or you're not. So I can teach you, but sailing is as much an art as it is a profession.
Well, I have no doubt. Watching you with these waters, but any knowledge is better than no knowledge. I'm used to convoys in on land. That's why.
Are you sitting like really far away from your mic?
I'm used to convoys in on land, and so learning about the sea is always wonderful.
Yeah, he's willing to teach you. Are
And
you
I,
are you actually hoping to gain points towards learning um, water vehicle proficiency?
yeah, we have 7 days, so yes.
We have 10 to 12 days.
Sorry, 10 to 12 days. We've got almost 2 full weeks.
While we're starting to leave Havenport, I sit down against the rail and take out my mandolin and begin to strum. Uh, Play a couple of tunes, and then I say, Captain, can you teach us a shanty song?
He takes a few moments and thinks about it and says, I think I can do that for you. And he starts to sing, which I'm not going to do because I don't actually know any sea shanties. So, besides, you probably don't want to listen to me sing anyway. But he starts to sing, and it's very quiet and even sounds a little maudlin at first, and then and at first you're kind of thinking this doesn't sound much like a shanty, and then it gets to the chorus, and he and both of his crewmen break out in this very loud and boisterous chorus that they just keep repeating over and over and over, and yeah, that's where your shanty is. I was actually gonna go look one up on YouTube, but I don't remember how to make it so you guys can hear it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you do that either.
And he's a terrible singer.
Aren't they all?
Yes, apparently. But
I'd say make $1,000,000. Okay.
but they are enjoying themselves, and they are singing you a song, and they don't seem to care that they sound horrible. Okay, for the most part, the day is quiet and uneventful. Um, you've got a good stiff wind at your back, and the tide Skype seems to just float over the water, as if it's barely even touching it, as it's blown along by the wind. Um, um, as the sun goes down, the captain kind of loosens the sail a little bit and lets the ship slow down just a little, or rather has one of his crew loosen the sail so it slows down a bit, and then a third crew member that you guys have never even seen suddenly pops up from the hold of the ship, and he walks over to the helm, and he and the captain exchange a few words, and they kind of nod and point at you guys a little bit. The new crew member kind of looks a little doubtful, but shrugs and takes over at the helm. While the captain kind of slowly walks across the deck, stretching and yawning. He takes off his coat and his hat and kind of tosses them into his little 5x5 hutch in the middle of the deck, and says, "Well, there's probably not going to be a whole lot going on. My first mate will take the helm during the night. You guys are welcome to stay up or get some sleep. at your discretion. It's it's pretty laid back here on the ship, so
That's good. We appreciate your. We appreciate you taking us where we need to go.
you are the customer. And we're headed that way anyway, so it's not like it cost me anything more than a few extra supplies.
Well, I wish him a good night.
Okay. He says goodnight to you as well, and he heads off into his little shack. And you can hear him rummaging around a bit, but he quickly quiets down, and then before long, you're hearing this very loud snoring coming from the shack, and it's very obvious that he is out cold.
Rogar will find a place to sit down, tie himself to the whether it's the side rail or the shaft of the sail, and fall asleep. In case there's bad weather at night.
Um. Well, pick one. Which do you want to tie yourself to?
The shaft of the
The mast.
mast.
Okay. Give me a perception check. Okay, you get to the mast, and you sit down in front of it, or next to it, your back to it, and kind of start tying yourself to it. And you realize that the mast isn't actually secured to the ship. You could literally lift it off the ship if you wanted to.
He'll move to somewhere where it is, and he'll look at wondering how it actually moves the ship with if it's not connected.
Well, it's stuck down into the ship.
Okay.
It's just not secured to the ship.
There's a pole in a hole,
Yeah, pretty much.
and nothing holding the pole in the hole.
Pretty much.
He keeps that to himself, but moves over and ties himself to something better. Things is great because that means that the wind, no matter what, will move the ship.
Okay.
He doesn't know enough about boats to say that's not supposed to be that way. Yeah, remember? He's like, come on, go.
Okay, what else are you trying to tie yourself to?
Railing. And if there's nothing, then he just lays down and falls asleep on the deck. Or no, he actually asks one of the crewmen, "Where do you guys normally sleep?" and go sleep there.
In the hold.
Okay, then he goes down to the hold. I forgot it had a hold that we could access.
Okay. You get down there. Sky and Rogar. You both cannot stand up to your full height in the hold. You have to hunch over. It's dark. It's dank. It's wet. But it's there. There's a space um, towards the bow of the ship that you can see a couple of small bedrolls. 4 of them, 3 of them. Sorry, bedrolls off to the side, and there's enough room there for the 4 of you if you're comfortable sleeping close.
He falls asleep.
Yeah, I'll head down and head to sleep also.
Okay. Latham, Sky, are you all doing the same?
Stay up for a while. Does this ship have a crow's nest on the mast, or?
It's not so much a crow's nest as it is a board nailed perpendicular to the mast.
Yeah, why not? I will climb up there, or attempt to climb up there, and secure myself up there for the next, 3.5 hours.
Okay. You're gonna secure yourself, you said?
Yeah, with rope.
Okie doke. As you do this, the rest of the crew just kind of watch you, kind of half awestruck. The fact that you're climbing all the way up this 40-foot mast, considering how tall the ship actually is. It's about 40 feet. To tie yourself to this board that's nailed crossways over it. Sky, while you're up there, give me a perception check. Okay, there are 3 pinpricks of light behind the ship. One is directly west of you, and another one is about 10 degrees north of that, and the third one is about 35 degrees south of that. You can also see just south of the ship, just a touch ahead of you, you can see the silhouette of a third ship, one that is much larger than yours. You can see a lantern hanging from the bow of the ship, and it appears to be overtaking you without too much trouble.
Does it look familiar? Is it that beautiful one that was right next to ours?
No,
Okay.
not the 85-foot yacht. Or 85-foot luxury craft. Whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you see those 4 ships. Also, with your interminably powerful drow eyesight, you can still see the um, the lights of Havenport in the distance, far off distance.
I will just stay up there for my watch, and then make my way down and crawl over to the rest of them and sit down and do my trance.
Okie doke. Is that what that was? Was that a watch?
Yeah, and since I only need 4 hours, I figured I may as well, I like the cold, not cold, brisk, I guess, brisk nights, and with the wind, it should be probably, what, brisk-ish. Yeah. So, figured since I don't need the full 6 hours of sleep, I may as well sit up there and keep watch for a bit.
Okay, works. I just double checking. Um. Okay, yeah. So that's your watch. Do you wake anyone else up?
No.
Okay. Okay. You guys are all awakened in the morning by a loud bang, a loud detonation. Um. And yeah, there's a loud boom, and yeah, you guys are now suddenly awake.
Now I'll allow the others to get out, so I don't. Um, since I'm bulky, I allow the ones that are small to get out fast. If they're getting out, if they're moving. If they're not, then I'll go out there as quickly as I can.
Yeah, I'll clamber out of the hold and up onto the deck as quick as I can to see what it was.
Okay. When you get up on deck, there is a um, one of the crew members is cooking in a pot. There's it's like a brazier kind of a thing that's got a pot hanging over it, and the sides of the brazier are abnormally tall to keep anything burning inside it, so it doesn't fall out onto the deck during you know during a rogue wave or anything like that. But he's cooking something in a pot, and just moments after you guys come out, the captain comes out of his little shack, stretching and yawning, and he's slowly putting on his coat and his hat, and everyone's acting as if it's perfectly normal.
Good wake up call.
I'll look around just at the horizon, see if I see anything.
Okay, give me a
And then
perception check. Okay. There is a ship a good ways east of you at this point. There are also 3 ships still back behind, or to the west of your ship. One of them pretty much directly west of you. The other 2 to the right and left of or north and south of that one.
All right. Then I'll just look back up at the captain and ask what the loud bang was.
He kind of looks at you, uh, almost confused for a moment, and then look of understanding comes over his face, and he kind of grins, and he looks over at their first mate, who reaches into his tunic and pulls out this little satchel, and he lights it and tosses it. And he lights it and holds it for a few moments, and just before the wick gets into the satchel, he tosses it up in the air, and it just detonates with this loud bang. And there's this this kind of rainfall of little confetti that just kind of floats off over the water. And the captain looks back at you and says, "My first mate doesn't talk much, but he's very good at getting his point across when he wants to. And he was just letting us know it was time to wake up."
That makes sense.
He laughs. Rogar laughs.
Feel free to grab some breakfast. It's not the best in the world, but it should fill the belly until we drop you off at least.
Well, we're used to being on the road, so it's all right. And then I will grab some of the food.
Rogar will as well.
Okay, it's kind of a essentially oatmeal. It's got little pieces of dried fruit in it. You've also got a basically a cider to drink with it. And like he said, it's not the greatest, but it's at least palatable until you get dropped off.
I'll eat what's there.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I'll eat what's like all the food that's handed off to me, and then just kind of sit on the edge of the boat watching what everyone does for the day.
Okay. You are each handed a bowl and a cup of cider. They are, however, gnome-sized. So Ariana, you probably be just fine. Sky, you might be okay, depending on how hungry you feel like letting yourself get. Lazum, you are used to eating probably 4 times as much, and Rogar, this isn't even a snack for you. This is like eating a peanut when you're hungry for real food.
I'll eat it, but I'll also have a ration so that I'm not devouring,
Okay. Lazum, how about you?
Well, I'll take what's offered and supplement it with a ration as well.
Okay. Sky, Ariana. Are you doing anything different?
No, I'll just eat what's offered and just that.
I'll be fine with it.
Okay. Ariana, about as you guys are sitting down to eat, the captain, carrying his bowl and cup, comes over and sits next to you, and he just eats quietly for a few minutes, and several times he turns to you and looks as if he's about to say something, and then closes his mouth and turns back to his food.
All right. After he does it, maybe the third time or so, I'll ask where he's headed with his boat. Did that come through, sir?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to give you come up with an answer because I don't actually have one. um, he says, "I've got to make a quick stop in Delthuntle, and then I've got to go on. Uh, we've got a um, what is the name of that place? The Gnome Lantern. Um, we've got an appointment in Lantern to um, upgrade the ship a little bit."
How did they get from here to Atlanta?
They've got to sail. I believe it's down south around the continent, and then up north and way out west. It's probably like a 6 month journey.
I see. And what brought you into Haven?
I had just delivered uh, a load of goods from Sarshell.
See.
What's that?
Just I see. Um, and now you're just heading back home.
Yes, once we've dropped some stuff off in Delthuntle, Lantern is home. And he kind of moves the remainder of his food around in his bowl a little bit, and he kind of looks at you again and says, "I realized that when I agreed to bring you on board, that we never actually discussed rates. And I want to apologize for that. I was really not. I was really surprised that somebody was seeking passage on my boat.
You were the first ones that we found that were heading out this way. How much were you thinking?
Um, Normally, I think passengers are about 10 gold, so does that seem appropriate? And he's asking you, like he has no clue, and he's just asking you, hoping that you're not offended by the suggestion of that amount.
Yeah. How much?
How much?
Sorry. How is that a normal rate?
Oh, are you asking if that's a fair price?
Yeah, like out of game.
Um, I believe the last time you guys took a ship, it was 15 gold apiece. And he just asked you for 10 gold, so
Yeah.
that take that as you will. Keep in mind that the last time you guys were on a ship, the captain was a good friend of Crystallini as well.
Yeah. I
And we
will.
were on a ship.
Yeah.
What's that?
And it was a
And we
big
were
ship.
on a ship,
Yeah,
not
not
not a couple of pieces of wood tied together.
yeah, that
And
too.
the shaft in the middle. That's
Yeah.
just what's there.
I will ask if you want 10 for 4 people plus 10 for the wolf, or
When you say that, his eyes just get wide, and he just kind of says, "Oh, okay."
I think he was meaning 10 for the entire trip.
um,
He saw you
I
coming a long way.
I will take out 50 gold and fumble around in my bags for a bit, see if I have a small like leather pouch, and put it in there and hand it over to him.
Okay, he takes it from you, still wide eyed, and his mouth hanging open, and he just kind of smiles, and just kind of looks at you amazed as he slowly um, pulls it in and just kind of holds it to him. Um, yeah, he's very happy with that price.
We his new best friends.
Very likely.
Okay.
Though you may not be by the time you guys finish. I guess we'll see what happens between here and there.
Yeah.
I continue to help out whichever crewman says you're coming with me and learning.
Okay. Lazen, are you doing anything interesting?
Well, I don't know about interesting, but I surreptitiously reach in my bag and pull out 50 gold and give it to Iriana. So as I'm carrying the group funds. That way, she's not standing the whole cost.
Alright, I will take it from you.
Mm-hmm.
And just put it back in my bags.
Okay.
Okay. And other than that, that's about what I expected to be charged. So that's all right. Wonder. I went ahead and took a ration from my bag
Okay.
for, and another one for Damba.
Okay. Um, Damba, give me a Constitution saving throw on Damba.
Why, you think he's going to get seasick?
He is a wolf. He's not intended for the sea.
Okay. Well, hang on a second.
The rest of you have pretty decent constitutions, but Damba is a wolf. Yeah. You find Damba. He's curled up in a ball, hiding behind the little shack that the captain has. And he's shaking, and every now and then you hear a little whimper coming from him. And he's not having a good time. And he doesn't even bother looking at you when you offer him the ration.
Well, I'll sit down here with him and pet him a bit, and then I'll break a little piece of the ration off and hold it up to his nose. And
He sniffs it a little and kind of licks it, and then puts his head back down.
yeah, well, come on, guy, fella. I know this is not steak, but you gotta have something. So with that, I kind of pull his jaw open and put the piece on his tongue and close his mouth again.
He kind of growls at you and kind of tries to roll over out of your reach, but it doesn't work, and he swallows it and kind of gives you a dirty look before curling up and burying his head as far behind you as he possibly can. Okay.
I'll
So
ask if they have a fishing pole or anything that they usually use to get meals, or if they just stock up for all their meals in the ports.
We have some fishing poles. We also have some nets. We usually stock up fairly well in ports for dried goods, and then um, when we run out of meat from the ports, we depend on fish and whatever we can catch.
Try my hand at fishing off the back of the boat.
Okay, does your character know anything about fishing?
I'm sure that he probably did some fishing in the Underdark at some point that has nothing to do with a huge lake, let alone a sea on a boat.
So, no.
Short answer, probably not.
Okay.
I just as somebody who's fished on both land and sea, if you're fishing off the back of the boat, not a big difference, except for the size of a fish that you may catch. Everything else is, if you're using their poles, it's the same.
Okay. Well, the fact of the matter is, though, he doesn't know anything about fishing, so
So,
that limits his
yeah.
proficiency bonus, so to speak.
As somebody who doesn't like fishing in World of Warcraft or in human life, I'm just figuring, and I'm figuring that Sky would also be figuring, um, that if I try and cast something out on the side of the boat, it might get, run over by the boat. And same thing with the front, and with the back of the boat, it can trail behind, and hopefully something will come up and bite it.
Well, that's good logic.
Perfect logic.
Okay. Give me a straight dexterity check. How long are you going to spend fishing?
Probably most of the day, since there's really nothing to do.
Okay, give me another dexterity check then. Okay.
You guys want to eat dinner now or
Your day starts out
after the dinner's over?
starts out pretty good actually. You manage to fish or hook a fish almost immediately. Within like the first 15 minutes, and the gnomes are kind of trying to, you congratulate you. You know the workers, the crew are congratulating you, and they're teasing you, telling you it's just beginner's luck, and there's no way you'll be able to keep that up, and they're basically just teasing you, having a good time, trying to kind of trying to treat you as one of the crew type of thing. Um, as the day continues, you start to catch fish pretty regularly. Um, by the end of the day, you've caught yourself way more than the crew, the whole ship could eat in a single day. Um, you have some fish to either salt or attempt to smoke for the next several days, at least. let's say you've caught about 17 upper mid-sized fish. So
Good.
let's see if I can do the math.
We've got Bo in this game. He's great at math.
So we're talking upwards of 250 pounds worth of fish.
Holy crap.
I could very easily be imagining the size of these fish. I estimated them around 15 pounds average.
That's probably about right.
That's probably about right.
I mean, I was thinking that much smaller than that, they probably wouldn't be able to keep pace with the ship well enough to get the hook. And much bigger than that, he would probably need some sort of skill to be able to bring them in. So.
Do you like guacamole?
I will get to work skinning and smoking them and adding some coriander for tonight's meal. Smoking the rest without any spice.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I was asked a question.
I will start to skin them, or not, prep them, slice them down the middle, and start smoking a bunch of them for later in the week, and smoke some for tonight using some coriander spice, and prepare nice large meals for these tiny people that gave us the tiny bowl of oatmeal this morning.
Okay. And as you're going about this and finishing your fishing for the day, the crew have stopped their teasing, and they are rightfully impressed by your plethora of catches. And they are very grateful to take your coriander fish for dinner.
What'd you use for bait?
What'd you use for bait, Sky?
Kenny, what I use for bait?
Whatever they had. If they had fishing poles, they had bait. You used what they supplied.
I
Yeah.
found some small pieces of meat somewhere and put them on the hook.
Makes sense.
But generally, what they have is smaller fish, minnows, stuff like, or not minnows, but they have really tiny fish that they throw on the end of it. At least that's what they did when we went shark fishing.
Yeah, the bait you have is kind of dependent on what type of fish you're hoping to catch.
And we caught a plethora of different types of fish. So they were all about 15, 20 pound fish, so it does work.
Awesome.
Say that they were bigger than the fish we normally caught. It tastes great too.
Okay. Okay, so Rogar, you said you're basically just trying to learn all day.
Yeah, I'm learning for the next 14 days. That's all my character does is just I go with one guy, learn his skill, go with another guy. So I'm learning the actual boating to where if we had to take something, I'd at least have a little bit of knowledge on it instead of like normal of let's get somewhere.
Okay. Um, give me an intelligence check. Okay. Um, seems pretty easy to make sense of everything that you're taught today. It's the beginning, and your biggest lessons, or biggest, most important thing you learned for the day is you now know enough to realize how little you know.
That work. I do ask why. I asked one of the crew members, why isn't the mast secured?
We just had to replace it,
Right.
and we haven't quite finished repairs yet.
Okay.
I'll get to it. Just, I'll get to it.
It actually isn't an accurate answer, but
It's a fantasy game.
hmm,
It's a fantasy game.
Yep.
I know. But you are correct that the mast is not fastened to the rest of the ship. But there's a reason for that, and it has nothing to do with whether or not you can hold on to it.
Wait, the mast isn't connected to the ship?
No.
Yeah, always all the
On smaller ships, that is correct. I mean, when you get to the larger ships, like the 2 and 3 masted frigates and freighters and so forth, yes, they are fixed in place. But for the smaller ships like the sloop and some of those others, it's not fixed in place. And the reason is that that mast is what they call stepped or put into a socket in the deck. And the force of the wind holding the sail actually pushes it forward so that it is locked in place in what's called a step, which is just basically a notch in the deck. But in the smaller ships, you don't want to fasten it permanently, because as you go up and down the rivers, many of the rivers have bridges across them, and if your mast is up, you can't go under that bridge a lot of times. And so you can unstep the mast, which means you pull it out of its socket in the deck and lay it on the deck and go on under the bridge, and then you can put it back up if you want to, or wait until you come back down river.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I never occurred to me that, wow, that whole thing about the river thing, that didn't even enter my mind. But the fact that the mast wasn't attached, that was totally off the top of my head. Had nothing to do with anything. But I was pretty much imagining it working exactly the way my dad just explained, which I think is really cool. Just the fact that I totally imagined that without any context whatsoever, and it's actually real, is what makes me think it's pretty cool.
Okay, so you're smarter than the average bear.
Yeah, I knew it could be steps, but I also know that they were still connected. Like generally, you put it in the bottom, and then there's a bar that goes through it that holds it or secures it to the deck or to the boat. So,
Okay, well,
So they didn't want to go do a sleepover, and then
um, so yeah, he says he'll get to it.
hey, boat works. It works great. And he keeps on going.
you know those critters were horrible at the zoo, right?
Okay, so Lacy, you already did something today, right? Or was that last
Yeah,
night?
it was last night, but I just spent a while showing off how much I know about sailing, even though I've never sailed. So I'm tired. I think I'll take a nap.
Is that one of your bucket lists?
What?
I asked your dad if it was one of his bucket lists.
No, I don't particularly believe in bucket lists. I mean, if it were possible, I would like to sail on a square rigger, but I don't have the money, or at this stage, probably even the strength to be able to do that.
Ariana, are you doing anything else today?
No, I'll just kind of stay out of the way and watch everyone work for the day.
Okay.
Is he still working?
He was when yeah, what?
As the day comes to a close, or sun comes down, starts to set, the wind picks up, and see the wind picks up, and the sky starts to darken. Um, and the first mate comes up on board or on deck, and kind of he starts heading towards the helm, and he kind of stops and looks up at the sky, looks around, and his face kind of goes white, and he runs to the helm, and um, the captain hands it over to him. But before the first mate takes over, he literally ties himself onto the um, the wheel, and the captain kind of looks at him and looks out at the the sky and the seas, and he looks back at the first mate and says, "That bad?" And the first mate just nods. And captain will run out towards where you guys are for the most part hanging out, and he'll say, "Looks like we've got a pretty bad storm coming in tonight. Um, um, might want to get down below and hope we can weather the storm."
I'll nod and head down below.
I'll follow what they need me to do.
Okay. Another one of the crew members ties a rope around his waist, and then ties it to um, the base of the wheel for the helm, and the others, including the captain, all make their way down into the hold.
I go down into the hold with them,
I'm
but
laying down so I'm not blocking anybody's way. Since I'm big and bulky.
yeah, well, but rather than go to the forecastle forward cabin where the crew normally sleeps, I look among the cargo, the crates, to see if I can find a place where the crates are well secured and there's a small space between them that I can stay in.
Okay, give me a perception check. You start looking around, and there's not a whole lot of cargo in here, which is really weird considering he's supposed to be um, dropping cargo off. But it's for the most part softer stuff, like um, not stuff that um, in crates and such. It's like bundles of um, God, I can't think of anything.
Bundles of cotton,
Sure,
or pardon me, bales of cotton,
that'll work.
or bundles of furs
That'll work.
and things like that.
All I could think of was bundles of pillows, and that wasn't working.
Yeah.
um, yes, it's mostly soft stuff. So on the off chance it does get thrown around, it's probably not going to hurt terribly bad. Um, but it is secured fairly well, and you do find a couple of or a small space just big enough for you and Damba to squeeze into. And you better believe Damba is right on your heels, because he's not liking this any more than you did this morning. Probably even less.
If we have a real storm, I'm sure that he won't like it at all. But it's, once you're out in this situation, you're pretty much stuck with what you get.
Okay, he curls up in there, and you kind of squeeze in right between his legs, and he kind of wraps himself around you, and so you're kind of protected by this wall of wolf. And yeah. Everyone else? How was everyone else doing this?
I will take the lead from the captain and his crew. And wherever they position themselves, I'll try and be close to that as well.
Okay, they make their way to the basically the bunks where um, they usually sleep. They kind of huddle up in the corner, squeeze in there tight, make sure there's as much room for everyone else as possible. And when you all get in there, it's snug. Um, there are points when you might somebody shifts, and somebody's suddenly sitting on someone's lap without even realizing it, type of thing. Um, but it seems relatively safe, and you don't have the wolf in there to make it even more uncomfortable. So that's a good thing. Rogar and Sky, you guys joining into this cuddle pile?
No, I'm trying to stay out of the way in case somebody has to run upstairs. So I'm by the stairs, but I'm away from, not blocking them, but pretty much squatting there.
Okay.
First mate is tied up with the helm, you said, right?
Yes, and there's one other crew member up there. The third crew member and the captain are down below in the hold with everyone else.
I'll find something to tie myself to up top. In case something goes wrong, I can jump in.
If it does crash, I didn't know anybody was. I didn't know they were tying people up on top. So I tried doing that yesterday. I'll do up there because I gotta learn.
Okay. Then Rogar and Sky give me perception checks. Okay. You see the other two are tied off against um the wheel, essentially, or rather the base that the wheel is on.
It's called a stanchion.
Yes, that thing, the stanchion. Um, and Sky, first place you look, you also run over to the mast and start trying to tie yourself off, and that's when you feel it shift, and you're like, okay, this is not secure. This is not going to work. And Rogar, at the same time, you watch Sky do this, and as you're looking around trying to find something, and you go over to the rails, and the rails kind of squeak back and forth as you grab them, and you realize, yeah, that's not going to work either. So at this point, you can try to tie yourself as third and fourth person to the stanchion, or you can tie yourself to either the bow or aft of the ship. There are secure places to tie yourselves at both the bow or the aft.
I'll take the bow.
I will head downstairs.
This guy's like, screw this.
I was gonna try and help, but if y'all, and I'm not saying this, but I'm thinking this. If y'all didn't provide any places other than this to tie myself off, then I'm going downstairs.
Okie doke.
The one, I guess, discomfort more than anything else of being below decks is that in a storm you're likely to get wet. In a big storm you're likely to get real wet. But at least you'll still be with the ship.
As it goes down.
Yeah, I was about to say whether it's on the surface or not. Okay. So we have 15 minutes left, and the party is currently heading into a storm. I think that's a pretty good cliffhanger.
Yeah, it works.
Probably, yeah.
So, what do you say we go ahead and call it there? Pick it up next week
Sounds
at the
good.
cliffhanger.
Yeah, that
I
works
see a
for me.
storm. I don't see any cliffs.
Ha ha ha.
You don't see the cliff that we're about to run off of?
Yeah, considering we're
Or run
in
into.
Exactly. Um, and then what? Big storm on our second day on the boat.
we haven't even gotten to open water yet.
It's almost as if someone is conspiring against you.
I know, right?
Magic or us? Oh.
I knew that those Vecna jokes were going to bite me in the ass.
Could be.
Alright, I will see you guys next week.
Okay, have a good one, Bo.
Have a
Yeah.
good week.
See you tomorrow if you're there.
Oy. Hope you don't mind eating while we talk.
Yeah,